Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my second 3D project for my sweet week using the From My Heart suite, which is gorgeous. And I'm bringing you this little Matchbox treat box today. Again, slightly different. This I had more in mind of a friend than Valentine's. I don't know if you can see the wink of Stella. Yeah, isn't it gorgeous? And inside here, I have two of these gorgeous Lindor chocolate bars. Yes, it's all about this chocolate this week. And again, I just thought the little sentiment says being friends is better than eating candy, but let's do that too. Well, if you're giving it to your friend and you're going to eat candy, you need one each. So that's why I have two. Dead simple to make. I'm going to show you how to do it. Oh, excuse my chair. Just gone over something, I think. Okay, so then to start with, for your base, you're going to need some thick Whisper White cardstock. That is 6.5 by 3.5 inches or 9.5 by 17 centimetres. And we're going to score all sides at 3/4 of an inch, which is 2 centimetres. So super simple, this one. And it isn't so much about the simplicity or the complexity of the projects. For me, it's just about showing you the products. So it doesn't really matter if it's a basic box. I'm just showing you that using the right coordinating products, it just is a wow every time. So that is your base, just scored quite simply on those 4 sides. I'm going to pop that to one side and I'm going to score my wrap while I'm here. Just saves me clattering around with this all the time. So your wrap is going to be 6 inches by 5 1/8 of an inch, and that's 16.5 by 13.3 centimetres. So on the long side, which is the 6 or 16.5, we are going to score at 1/2 inch, 2.5, 3.25, and 5.25. And in centimetres, that will be 1.5, 7, 9, and 14.5. And now I can clatter that down. So back to our basic box. Very simple, as I've said. We're literally going to fold and burnish the 4 sides, and then we're going to trim the 4 corners just into our little tabs. Simple. Now I haven't, but I was considering adding a little bit of DSP into the bottom of the box, which obviously if you wanted to you could. You would use the same size DSP as I will be using on the lid, which will be 4 3/4 by 1 3/4 of an inch. So if you want to use DSP, that will be the size. All the measurements will be on my blog, so don't worry. Again, back in with my wet glue, and I will also be back in with my little clips or pegs just while that dries. And yes, I have sort of changed from using my tear and tape for these kind of projects now. To be honest, I have an absolute stack of wet glue in my drawer and I just figured, why am I not using that? And it's a little bit more forgiving as well, because if something's not quite right, you can just slide it a little bit before it sticks. So that's sort of my other theory as well. But let's use the wet glue. Let's love the Tombow. Oh my goodness. So that is, I suspect my son's just come home. That clip's a bit too strong, so I'm going to go with this one. So that I'm going to leave to dry just for a moment while we do the lid. So again, we've already scored the lines for this one, so we're just going to reinforce them with our bone folder. And then obviously we're going to add our DSP before we go any further. So if you think that this thin strip here is where we're going to be adhering, then this will be the top. Okay, So I'm going to add my strips of DSP. So as I said previously, 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. I know that I did forget to refill my snail, so I've got a refill at the ready. So snail on, yes, I knew that was going to happen. Right, just quickly change this over. Apologies for that. So, going to get some snail on there and put that onto what will be the front or the top of my box. And then I have 2 strips here for the sides, and these are 4 3/4 by 1/2 inch, or 12.5 by 1.5. So I'm just going to pop those on those 2 thin columns there. That's not very straight, but never mind. And then I'm going to add some adhesive to this part here. So I am going to bring in my wet glue again and just run across there. And then again, the easiest way of doing this is to pop your chocolate in. So I'm going to put in 1 there and 1 in there, and then simply wrap my box around it. Tuck that up without getting glue all over your fingers, and then obviously just make sure it's level. And sadly I just sat and held this morning when I made that one up. I just sat and held it for a few moments because that glue's good enough. Don't want you sticking out, Mr. Sweetie Wrapper. And that should then hold it in place. Right, and then we just need to decorate it. So as I have done with this one, I have a lovely strip of DSP here, and I'm just going to take the end off that one at an angle. I then want a strip of ribbon. Thankfully I cut this already at an angle, but I'm not going to cut that end because I need to trim it all down. So I have my Whisper White here and my Flirty Flamingo ink. Back in with my wonderful heartfelt stamp and my sentiment. Ink it up, and I'm just leaving enough of a space this end to cut at an angle again. Give that a quick clean. So now I'm going to get my trimmer, because I just want to, let's just take some of that length off. I just want to trim this down a fraction because that's a bit too big. So I'm just going to trim that down. Perfect. So we're going to cut an angle there and an angle there. So now I know that my ribbon will be a little bit longer, so I can now cut it at an angle there. And then likewise with my DSP, that's slightly longer too, so I can cut that at an angle. And then we can just adhere them all. So back in with my snail on my DSP. I then went with a little bit of tear and tape to hold the ribbon down. I find it's a bit stronger on ribbon. So there's my ribbon 2. Oops, I levelled that up, never mind. And then I actually used some mini dimensionals right at the very top of this, and then just a little bit of snail to adhere it to that ribbon. And like I said, you could actually use this for a friend gift. It doesn't have to be for Valentine's, just because that's what the sweet is. I'm going to line that one up, I think. So yeah, you can use this as just a little friend's gift. And then last but not least are these little hearts. Now you're probably wondering where they are with this sweet. They're not. Do you remember the Be Mine stitch dies and that beautiful lattice of hearts? Well, if you remember, I had a little tub that I kept all of them off, and it was just perfect for me now. Now these, actually the red ones, are in Lovely Lipstick, which I don't want to use. So I'm going to have to stick with the Flirty Flamingo again. So I've just got a glue dot for the medium one, which will go, oops, just at the bottom here. And then I used mini dimensional, whoops, on the largest one, just in that corner. And then I actually cut a mini dimensional in half and popped that on the back of the small one, and then took the backing off, which was a feet in itself. There we go. And then I stuck that one right next to that one, and then I got my fabulous Wink of Stella just to cover those hearts. And there we have it. There is my double Lindor bar box. Hope you like it, hope you have a friend to give it to, and I hope you enjoy eating the chocolate. See you all again soon. Bye!